gold and paintings underground there, adding that it took local citizens and displaced people 3 days to unload the first train. PFC Moots passed the information up the chain of command to Colonel Whitcomb, the Chief of Staff, and Lieutenant Colonel Russell, the military government officer. Armed with that information, Russell immediately went to the mine with a few GIs, where he talked with other displaced people and local Germans who corroborated the French women's story. Mine officials told him that the assistant director of the National Galleries in Berlin was also there to care for confiscated artworks. A British POW, who had been captured in 1940 and was working at the mine as a mechanics assistant, told Russell that he had helped unload the gold. The soldiers learned that there were 5 more entrances to the labyrinthine mine, with one of them still behind enemy lines. Russell immediately ordered a tank battalion to guard the entrances and arrested all the mine executives. On April 7th at 10 o'clock a.m., Lieutenant Colonel Russell, accompanied by mine officials, soldiers, and Signal Corps photographers, entered the mine. The group immediately noticed at the entrance several hundred bags. When they opened them, they found them full of Reichsmark currency, which the Germans had apparently left behind in their rush to escape. Soldiers later found over 100 more in another location. They determined that each sack contained 1 million Reichsmark. They also found a locked steel door and speculated that they would find more valuables behind it. Germans told the GIs that it was called simply Room Number 8. At 2 o'clock p.m., soldiers attempted unsuccessfully to open the vault's door and then left. With all that evidence in hand, Russell interrogated Werner Feik, who worked for the Reichsbank, Germany's central bank, and said that he had been part of a group that recently brought gold, along with both German and foreign currencies, to the mine from Berlin. He said most of it was stored in the room behind the steel door. Russell quickly sent word to his superiors that there was a vault that reportedly contained gold and other valuables. Eventually the news reached General Patton, who ordered the soldiers to blow off the door the next day and find out what was inside. In the meantime, reinforcements were sent to guard the mine. The next morning, a group led by Lieutenant Colonel Russell was back at the mine to blast their way into the vault. They gathered up both Kaiserode officials and Paul Ortwin Rave, the curator of the German State Museum, to investigate what was underground. Newspaper photographers and reporters traveling with Patton's army accompanied them. The soldiers tried at first to get into the room by digging around the door, but when that didn't work, they blew a 5-foot hole in a masonry wall. Inside, the soldiers found riches to rival King Solomon's mines. The room was approximately 75 feet wide, 150 feet long, and had a 12-foot ceiling. Bags of gold bars and gold coins were neatly arranged in rows only a few feet apart. The GIs broke the seals of a few bags to confirm the contents and then resealed them. At the back of the room were 207 battered suitcases, boxes, and packages, in addition to 18 bags containing gold or silver jewelry, gold watches, and other valuables. Much of it appeared to have been flattened with a hammer to fit as much as possible into the containers. The soldiers speculated it was war loot collected by Nazi soldiers. The boxes actually contained valuables that Gestapo guards had taken from concentration camp inmates on their way to the gas chambers. Bales of currency were stacked along another side of the room. There were also several balances, seemingly to weigh precious metals. Later that day, the group found elsewhere in the mine 550 bags of Reichsmark, plus paintings and other museum treasures. They were haphazardly packed in cardboard or wooden containers. General Manton S. Eddy, the commander of the 12th Corps, arrived at the mine 3 hours later and quickly telephoned Patton to report that they had found a huge treasure of gold and artworks. In a rare reaction for a general famous for his oversized ego, Patton decided that the discovery was a political rather than a military matter and asked General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the commanding general of the Allied European Theater of Operations, to take over responsibility. The Berlin Museum paintings and art pieces, which included the famous bust of Empress Nefertiti, were priceless. The gold alone in room number 8 was worth $238.5 million. At today's gold price, that would be about $9 billion.